Welcome to the HarvestPlus podcast, where we explore innovative solutions to fight hidden hunger and build healthier food systems around the globe. Every episode, we bring you stories, insights, and impactful conversations about our work, empowering communities through biofortification and nutrient-focused initiatives. In today's episode, we're discussing the Nutritious School Meals Program, one of HarvestPlus' strategic pathways to address micronutrient deficiency for children of school-going age. These programs play a pivotal role in addressing childhood malnutrition by ensuring children have access to nutritious meals made from nutrient-rich crops. And to guide us through this conversation is Bho Mudyahoto, who plays a leading role in development and implementation of nutritious school meals in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So please settle in and let's dive into this important conversation. So Bho, you are very welcome to the podcast. Please introduce yourself and then give us an overview of HarvestPlus and its mission.
Thank you, Faith. My name is Bho Mudyahoto, or Mudyahoto, if they how they will call me at home. So I lead the monitoring and evaluation function of HarvestPlus at global level. I also lead the East and Southern Africa country programs. And part of my role is leading the design and implementation of the nutritious school meals globally. Thank you, Faith. So maybe just a little bit about HarvestPlus. HarvestPlus is actually a program of the CG systems, and it's actually managed under the International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI. At HarvestPlus, we work with a number of partners across the value chain, from research, private sector, public sector, seed, food partners, and these help us to scale the production and consumption of the nutrient-rich crops and foods so that we can contribute to the reduction of hidden hunger, the so-called micronutrient deficiency, and also to help people improve their livelihoods, especially smallholder farm families. We work with a number of nutrient-rich crops in different countries, and these include zinc wheat, zinc rice, iron power millet, orange maize or vitamin A maize, vitamin A sweet potato, vitamin A cassava. We also work with iron beans in many countries. I think these are the crops or varieties that we would call our portfolio of products. Thank you.
That's very, very insightful. And how and why does HarvestPlus get involved in the school meals programs?
To start with, Faith, I think you would know that HarvestPlus is an active member of the School Meals Coalition. So we are actually contributing to a global movement that tries to increase equal access to nutritious foods through the school meals program. We know that these nutritious crops and foods are designed to be consumed by everyone, but there's always been a special emphasis on reaching children that are under 5, adolescent girls and boys, and women of reproductive age, because these are the people that need micronutrients most, because they are disproportionately affected by the micronutrient deficiency. So at HarvestPlus, we believe that school meals can not only be, or should not only be, school meals, but they should be nutritious school meals. Hence, we have a tagline, not just school meals, but safe and nutritious school meals. The available evidence that we have generated together with our partners in the academic and research fraternity show that when these foods, or the nutritious foods, biofortified foods specifically, are consumed by learners or children of school-going age, they have the capacity to increase or the ability to improve numerical skills for learners. They also improve memory. They improve night vision, enabling kids to read or study at night. And we have had evidence showing that children who eat these crops or foods actually have less number of days of sickness, which definitely improves their attendance in schools. So we know very well that introducing these nutritious schools are likely to have a very high impact. These nutritious foods, when delivered through the school system, you also create, in an intentional way, large structured markets for smallholder farmers, which is something that we really want to make sure that farmers get markets for their produce. And of course, we are involved in this because we work across the value chain of these biofortified crops. And through that experience, we've actually developed a wide range of experience, and we have a deeper understanding of the supply chain. So that's what I would say is why we are involved in the school meals or school feeding program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bho. Could you share with our listeners what are some key components of the school meal programs that HarvestPlus supports in Africa and Asia?
Oh, thank you. Thank you once again. I think I'll start from the policy level, the environment in which we operate. So a key component of our school meals program ensures that the policy environment is conducive for accelerating the scaling of these nutritious foods. We want to work with countries that allow us to, or that allow for the use of these particular foods in the school meals. So we have a number of countries, for example, that we have actually supported to tweak their policies to include nutrient-rich foods in the school feeding program. So policy is a key aspect of the school feeding program. But for us to be able to be effective and efficient, we have identified key entry points. And these strategic entry points include advocacy platforms that we use to be able to talk about the importance of nutritious school meals. For example, we have the coalition of school heads or school headmasters platforms where we talk about the school meals, because we know the school headmasters or the school heads are very instrumental in determining what learners eat in the schools. We also have, for example, other entry points like the First Ladies Forum, where we can talk about it and encourage First Ladies to support the inclusion of these nutritious meals in the schools. Of course, we support smallholder farmers to access good quality seed. The supply side of these nutrient-rich crops is very, very critical. So if there is inadequate production, definitely there will be short supply. And when you have short supply, you have high prices. So we work with smallholder farmers and seed companies to make sure that, one, there is enough seed on the market, and two, the seed is accessible to smallholder farmers who can actually start growing the crops. Of course, when we work with these farmers and these seed companies, one of the key things is to strengthen their capacity to produce the seed and to grow the crops. So capacity strengthening is very, very important. We link the farmers to the schools as part of our work, because when we link them to schools, that's one, creating the market for the farmers, and two, that also enables the schools to easily access these nutritious schools. One of the things that we do is to identify farmer-producer groups. In countries where we have models where schools actually buy the grain from the open market, when we identify these cooperatives or farmer-producer groups, they produce the crops, the nutritious crops in large quantities. And when they produce in large quantities, it is easy for the schools to come and get this from one place. It is also easy for these farmers to sell to other development organizations like WFP, who rely on the availability of large quantities. Of course, we have examples in Malawi, Tanzania, and Kenya, where we work with these farmer cooperatives, and also in India. In some cases in India, what we actually do is we link these farmers to food processors, and these food processors work with schools to provide the meals. So a cooperative is linked to a food processor. The food processor procures the grain, they process the meals, and the meals are then supplied to the schools. So we have quite a number of these aspects of the school feeding program. But most importantly, one strategy that is now working so well for us, especially for schools in Africa, where you see schools growing these crops in their own gardens or plots. An acre of maize or an acre of iron beans for an ECD school is enough to produce enough grain that can supply food for almost 6 months in a school. This is a model that we think is sustainable, self-funding, and I think it's something that is really growing very fast. Thanks, Faith.
That's very insightful information. And the school meals program, I believe, has been going on for a while. What are some of the envisaged immediate and long-term benefits of scaling the nutritious school meals program?
Oh yes, Faith, you're right. It has come a long way. As way back as 2012, 2013, we started building the school meals, or the inclusion of these foods in school meals, a long time ago. For example, in Zambia, that's where we tested whether the children would like to eat or prefer to eat these meals, and the effects that they can actually cause when they are eaten by the learners. In Zambia, we are also developing recipes with the private sector to prepare the meals. In Rwanda, back in 2016, 2017, a study was carried out that actually showed that when university students consumed iron beans for 6 months, then their memory, their numerical skills will actually improve. So we've come a long way with the school, the involvement or the use of school nutritious foods in the school meals program. So the long-term effect or impact that we aim to achieve is that, of course, we overall want to have improved learning outcomes for school learners. We want to contribute to the long-term human capital development, because children who have access to nutritious foods have better cognitive development, and they can contribute later in life, in workplaces, economically. So that's how we look at it. It's a long-term human capital development objective.
Definitely. So I'm assuming that with all this that is happening, you've been receiving some feedback. And what feedback are you getting from the field on nutritious school meals so far in Africa and Asia? If you could share with us some examples.
Oh yes, maybe a few examples. When we introduce these foods to learners, one thing that has actually been so striking is that for crops like vitamin A maize, which is orange in color, learners love it because of the attractive color. because of the aroma. It's nice aroma, and the fact that they know it will help them to have a better night vision and so on. So learners love these meals in many places. And of course, because in Africa, in most cases, these foods are prepared on site as hot meals. Those who prepare the meals have always been telling us that, oh, these beans, for example, they cook very fast. We don't use a lot of energy. So it's an energy saving kind of technology. And that's very, very important. Not only saving energy, but saving money, because the firewood, the charcoal has to be bought. So it is definitely a climate smart kind of advantage. And of course, we have heard from parents, from teachers, that the learners who are eating these foods don't fall sick regularly or often. So, and when they fall sick only for a few days, meaning that they have a chance to attend classes more often, so reducing absenteeism. And of course, in some cases, one of the most important feedback that we've got is that the supply of these biofortified or nutritious foods is limited. So for that reason, the cost of buying them is slightly higher than the cost of buying non-biofortified or food ingredients. So we got that, and we are trying as much as possible to ramp up the production and supply of these school meals. In Kenya, for example, in a period of 2 years, we have really been able to increase the supply of iron beans on the market, and the price has actually reached almost like an equilibrium with other bean varieties. So that's exactly the feedback that we get, and that's how we use it for improving our delivery strategies. Thanks.
Okay. As a parent, I know that it would be good news for me when there is less days for my children to be out of school as a result of a disease.
Oh, yes.
And I'll be happier when my children's immunity is boosted because of the food they're eating, or that the whole family is eating. Thank you, Bho. So how does HarvestPlus ensure that the nutritional benefits of biofortified crops are understood and accepted by the communities that you serve?
You have to be strategic. You have to make sure that you are impactful and you are efficient with your messaging. So we have developed a set of very robust but easy to understand demand creation messages. And these messages are tailor-made to make farmers or parents understand. They are also tailor-made to make learners or students understand, as well as the teachers and policymakers. So tailor-made, effective demand creation messages are very, very important to ensure that the benefits are understood. And of course, the fact that we work with crops that are naturally grown in those communities by farmers means that these crops are already familiar to the children, or the children are familiar with the crops, and therefore there is no real switching to new crops. So making sure that we produce these crops and deliver them or use them in areas where they are naturally grown, it's very, very important. Hence the importance of what we normally call the nutritious homegrown school meal programs. Thanks.
Thank you, Bho. Now, it sounds like HarvestPlus has had this thought out well through, and it's an all-inclusive, including the messaging and kind of targeted messaging to all the parties that are involved. But who are some of the key private, public, and development partners and stakeholders involved in the successful delivery of this school meals program?
Oh, yes. We can't do it alone. One of our key strategies is to develop a critical mass of strategic partners across the value chain. So we work across the value chain, engaging with the private sector, the public sector, community-based seed and food businesses for us to be able to do this. Seed companies see the business in the seed production business. Food companies see the same. The public sector see the policy implementation as an advantage. So a lot of these partners that we are working with are conscious of the objective that we want to achieve, and they are aware of the business that they can actually make. So we work with governments, we work with development partners, several donors, technical partners like the school meal suppliers. We work with farmers, we work with parents and educators along the value chain. The donors that are supporting this work are also very, very crucial, because money is always the oiling factor here. So we have support from the Happel Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, the Institute of Food Technologies, Cargill, and many more. These are the current ones, but including the donors that we're working with in the past, the Gates Foundation, FCDO, MacArthur Foundation, all these donors have supported the increased production of these nutritious crops. And working with all these partners and donors, we are proud to let people know that in the next 1 year or 2 years, we are actually aiming to supply or to serve more than 50 million meals to more than 3 million learners across the globe. And this will definitely have a lot of positive effects or impact on the learners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bho. Can you tell us about the key sustainability pillars that HarvestPlus is putting in place to ensure the continued growth of nutritious crops, or to continue the nutritious growth of nutritious school meals program?
The sustainability pillars, the first one, like I've just said, is the partnerships. For example, when we work through partners like the AU or NEPAD, when you work through the School Meals Coalition, these are partners that create a platform for us to access knowledge products, to access partners to work with. And of course, some of the key pillars include a school meals program, nutritious school meals program that is anchored in policy. If you anchor your program in policy, then it means you have sustainability. And then, of course, when you work with the private sector and they see business in this, they see profitability, it means they will self-drive, of course, because they're driven by profit. But in the process, they're also serving the purpose that we want, to make sure that the food is sustainably available in adequate quantities. Of course, we build the school meals on local food supply chains. And the local food supply chains are crucial because we saw what happened during COVID, the disruption that happened to the food supply. We saw what happened with the Ukraine crisis, with the supply of the key crops being disrupted. So making sure that these supply chains are local is a key sustainability pillar. And of course, the fact that most of these nutritious crops are staple, that means foods that are eaten and grown by farm households forever. It means you have a very solid foundation to make sure that there is adequate availability, because this is what they eat on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
Okay. So given that the school meals program was launched, maybe it was tried at some point, maybe 10 years ago, what are some of the lessons that you are learning in implementing the school meals programs, and how is HarvestPlus using them to enhance effective designs for the future?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We now know that working through and with key platforms like the NEPAD, like the School Meals Coalition, it's a very important design issue to focus on. You're not working in isolation, because this is a bigger problem than HarvestPlus. So working through these strong existing partnerships and platforms is very, very important. We also know that we now know that the effectiveness of the messages that we use to make sure that learners, teachers, parents, policymakers understand the role of nutrient-rich foods in school meals is so important. And of course, we know also that if a nutritious school meals program is parent-led, it becomes sustainable. Sustainable in the sense that parents make it part of what they have to pay for, instead of programs that are supported with external through external funding, which can easily be disrupted by disrupted flow of funding. Of course, we now know that these programs are an excellent opportunity to create large structured markets for our smallholder farmers. Otherwise, farmers don't just grow, they grow to eat and also to sell, to make profit. And when you provide these large structured markets, it's so like I would call very satisfying to farmers. They look forward to producing because they know there is a guaranteed market.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. This is a very enriching conversation we've had, Bo. And in a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, can you tell us what does success look like to you?
Having done everything that we do, Faith, I think we envision a world where you have sustained farm level production of these nutritious crops, so that there is adequate supply. And of course, success to us would also mean that as many learners as possible, or more learners every time, are served with these nutritious meals consistently and sustainably. So a sustained a supply of meals to the learners is a key success indicator for us. And ultimately, like I said before, when the consumption is leading to improved learning outcomes, especially for children in low and middle income countries, that will really make us celebrate that there is success in what we are doing. And yeah, with all this, Faith, I think we, like I said before, I would really want to thank our donors, to thank our partners, the governments who are listening to this kind of or agreeing with us in terms of the need to include nutritious foods in the school meals. And we keep on saying not just school feeding, but nutritious school meals that are safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bo, for joining me on this very insightful journey and educating us. I should say it has been very educational, this conversation that we have had. And I would like to invite everyone to please join us on our next blog post, and you can watch this on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you, everyone. Wishing you a good listening. Thank you.
Thank you.